first batch came
Oh
through,
man.
and I opened that first can. I was like, I really hope this tastes good. And why isn't there a soft drink that is dedicated towards the rave sector or the rave market that has all the ingredients that ravers actually need? So we wanted to create a product that actually, helps people basically in a scene that we love. That's the beauty of it. I think that's the beauty of raving that people don't get on the outside. They don't understand that it is like a place that people do connect.
Becky Hill doing an interview, sat next to one of our cans,
Yeah.
and I was just like, "What the fuck is happening?" Yeah, so like hearing that they've had the same sort of struggles is relieving. There's been points like throughout the journey where I'm like, "Is this even going to work?" And it's like, "Shit, like we've actually done it.
Yeah,
I've actually made a drink."
And today I'm fortunate enough to have the Ravrade boys. Welcome aboard.
Hello.
So
Hello, how are you?
Good, mate. Good. How you guys doing?
Yeah,
good,
good,
thanks, mate.
good, thanks. Yeah.
Sweet. I know we've had a little brief chat just before. So, yeah, for our guests, explain yourselves. Tell us who you are and what Ravrade's all about, and we'll dive in.
Yeah, I mean, just to start us off, like we've been ravers for maybe like 15 years now. It's been a long old slog, and we're probably coming towards the end of our road with it. But over the years, we've been to so many raves, and we always found the need that at the end of a rave, we were always flagging. Like during the rave, we were always flagging, and your drinks like Lucozade, Powerade, all those kind of drinks, they just didn't have a presence there.
Mm-hmm.
And we were just always like lining up outside of events. At the end, as was everyone else, there'd be queues out the door. There was one day when we were sitting on the floor outside an off license, waiting for the queue to go down to get some sort of isotonic drink or something. There's so many people. But yeah, and then so one day we were sat after a particularly heavy weekend. We were sat in the pub just chatting about it. And then my background's sports science, so I've got a fair amount of knowledge in terms of like what the body needs in terms of vitamins and minerals and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it Seb came up with the idea, like, why don't we just try and make a drink?
Yeah. Which is mental to think like that was nearly 3 years ago when we actually thought up the idea. And like Mike said, like we just realized that everyone was getting isotonic drinks after a rave, and it does just help. Like, it makes sense. Like you're flagging, you're basically doing a massive workout. Like we've all been raving, like you're on the floor, dance for 8 hours. And I don't know if you're anything like me, like I'm skanking hard normally. So yeah, we always got a isotonic drink after, and it just helped us out. And we were just thinking, why isn't there a soft drink that is dedicated towards the rave sector or the rave market that has all the ingredients that ravers actually need? No caffeine, no like loads of stuff that you don't need in a can, but like vitamins that you need, minerals that you sweat out, and importantly also salts as well.
Yeah.
Just so that you keep your body balanced. So yeah, we thought, fuck it, let's sorry, I can swear, can't I?
You can swear as much as you like, mate.
Sorry in advance.
Good job, he said yes, really, isn't it?
Yeah. That's a retake. But yeah, no, like we just thought, why not just see if we can make this drink? And it's like we're now about 2.5 years into the journey. We launched officially about a year ago. And yeah, it's been a crazy ride since. So yeah.
Yes, pretty much the story in terms of how we made it. That was a long, arduous journey. We can talk about that for a bit. But that was about a year and a half of working with food scientists and stuff, and trialing different flavors and adding more vitamins, taking vitamins out, and getting the right vitamins. We definitely wanted things like B6 in there, because it will help you.
It's just your energy.
Your energy levels, and like when you're flagging, it will bring you back up in a natural way rather than just pumping yourself full of sugar. And then we've got B12 in there, B3 in there, magnesium, sodium, like all the stuff that you generally find in your isotonic drinks. But but yeah, we just wanted to really target the market that we were interested in, the market we were part of, which was like the rave scene.
Yeah. And I think for us, it's like, I think it's important to just give something back as well. Like, I think we noticed a big gap that there wasn't something that actually helped people, especially ravers, that, you know, you might start flagging or you might be drinking too much water for whatever reason. And actually you do need that balance. So we've gained a lot from raving, like great mates, had great times. Like you say, Brad, at the earlier beginning of the call, like it is a break from like that normal monotony, but it does take a toll. So we wanted to create a product that actually, you know, helps people basically in a scene that we love.
That's cool, man. Yeah, I probably definitely need one because I'm definitely getting older, so I definitely will feel it a lot more.
Yeah.
So it's at the beginning of the chat, you guys said that you were schoolmates. So where did the like love of rave and drum and bass and stuff originate from? Was that from school? Because for me, it's the typical young kids. You love drum and bass when you're young, right? You know, drum and bass arena by hype and everything like that. So how did it go for you guys from that age?
Yeah, man. Like I mean, I can start.
Yeah,
Like,
go on. Yeah.
I mean, I've loved drum and bass since like I was a kid. It was actually Sun King, State of Mind, that got me into it. That was like the first song, like a proper hardcore drum and bass. And like literally I heard that sound and I was like, I need more of this. But we were in the same form at school.
Yeah. And like during school, I didn't even know about drum and bass, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like, but then when we were 16, Seb left, moved to Reading. I stayed on at sixth form. And then while he was there, he met like his first sort of like raving crew.
Yeah.
And there was like a 1.5 year period where we didn't really speak. We were still like mates, but we just weren't as close as we were in school. And then when Seb moved back, he badgered me for months. You got to try this out. You got to come to the drum bass race, come to the drum bass race. And then I finally caved and went to one, and the rest was history.
Yeah, it was hospital. It was a hospitality night.
Yeah,
at Brixton Academy. 20. Yeah, whatever, like whenever that was.
Yeah,
but yeah, that was
back in the days when you'd bounce back.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was class. And I mean, like, honestly, from then on, I think me and him have probably been a constant in maybe 3 or 4 different groups. You know yourself, like you have your group of ravers and then some go and then some new ones come and then there's a new core and then some move away and then another one comes in. And yeah, we're now in a group. We're now been in like the same solid group of people for the last like 2-3 years. We've never been going raving, and it's just like the moment when you sort of find your people. And we were just I remember like when we were raving back in the day, there was a guy in our group who was 30, and we were about 23. And I was like, oh man, he's been going for ages. He's so like I'm now 32, and like going to the raves now, there's like a guy in our group now who's like a lot younger than us, and it's just like you've become me and I've become that guy.
Yeah. That's
no.
Go on, sorry, go on.
Oh, go on.
That's right. It's just because of Zoom. I think it's a bit of a delay, but yeah, it reminds me of when I was a kid, like because I was part of a little drum and bass crew. I listened to things like Magistrate, J Line, JD or J Dan, yeah, and Mackie G. Like Mackie G's from Kent, like from Medway area. It's mad, like, and I remember we played in this shitty pub, and my mates managed to get Funstar, who is it, Mackie G to play some big like heavy hitters in this shitty town. I was like, fuck, we've got them in this shitty little pub down in an alleyway. Like, this is wicked.
Absolutely positive about that.
Yeah. But I know what you mean, though. When you're young, right, you got your little crew, and that's what we did when we were young, right? We had like a little room and just packed out for the shit speakers, and
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
And like those moments are the best. Like we've got so many fond memories of that. And I think it goes beyond just like the music. Is obviously really great, but I think what I love about the rave scene is you're just able to connect with anybody, and like everybody is just there for the music. There's no dramas, no matter how everyone. I think people have this misconception about drum and bass, especially in drum and bass raves, but it is like the most friendly environment ever, despite it being like very heavy music. right?
Yeah, it doesn't look friendly.
It doesn't look friendly. No,
If you're outside looking in,
yeah,
it looks mental.
yeah.
But like when you're there, honestly, yeah, I've never ever in 12, 13 years ever got into an altercation or ever seen anyone get into an altercation that
it's like
it's just not the culture.
No, it's like when you go, like everyone, well, people from the outside, in my view, from when I was young, thought it was all like people in like TNs, gold chains and stuff like that all the time, and it wasn't. When I used to go to them, where did I go? I went to one in Margate, and everyone was the super nicest. I didn't know who was playing. I was like, oh, who's playing? They're like, oh, this is the lineup, yeah, and they like showed me. It's super friendly, yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's just wherever you go, wherever the venue is, whatever part of London. Like we've been to some parts of London where you would be like, oh, we'll watch out around here and whatnot. Like it can be, but then you go into the Rave and it's just like,
yeah,
it's just, and you often see the same people that you've seen on the other side of the bloody. Especially in drum and bass, it's quite a small, like tight knit, like community. Like that's what we love about it.
I remember there was this one group. Well, they ended up becoming like a really close, like good mates of mine. I ended up moving in with them, but met them in a random Shogun night, and then just constantly kept bumping into each other like over the course of the year at like different nights or whatever it might be. And then ended up moving in with ended up becoming house. But it's like that's the beauty of it. I think that's the beauty of raving, that people don't get on the outside. They don't understand that it is like a place that people do connect and like deep, like people, you know, like I say, like no one's out to get each other or whatever. There's no animosity. There's no like what's the word? Like there's no front. No. Everyone's just there. Do you know what I mean? Like you meet some really beautiful people, and then the music is obviously cherry on the top. But
it's like I went to drum code night at Tobacco Dock, the techno night, and I was in the crowd and I met this guy and he was like, "Oh, who's playing?" I was like, "Oh, Alan's Fitzpatrick." He's like, "Oh, I love dubstep and drum and bass, but I thought I'd come and check out a techno night." And like you say, that's the beauty of a rave, isn't it? You know, like, and everyone was just like, "Oh, mate, this is," you know, and it's like everyone thinks raving's this like taboo thing, but it's not. Like everyone's just fucking so friendly, and everyone's just enjoying themselves, getting away from like everyday life.
Important that like we keep it as a culture. Yeah, like definitely, I feel like there's.
Well, you saw with when they shut down Printworks, like it was meant to be shut down numerous times before, and like the whole community like gathered together and was like, "No, you can't do this." Like,
they did that with Fabric as well.
Yeah, Fabric as well.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
sitting outside because they're going to try and turn it into flats, which is mental. Yeah, and I think like it's important that we keep this. Like, it's a really British thing I think raving's a really British thing, and
definitely,
it's a key part of our culture. To be honest, I don't think we should ever. Yeah. I think there is this trend of like, I don't know, clubs shutting down now and things like that. And I think, it's a bit scary. It's a bit worrying, actually, to be fair.
Yeah, but I think it's one of the things where there is such a big community for it, it will bounce back. Like things like that.
Always does, doesn't it? Yeah. That's like
it might not be, but it'll be Beams or wherever it is becomes the new.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Or Silver Docks is a you haven't been Silver Docks, have you? Silver Docks is class. Like it's so different. It's like it's all like, it's not grass. It's like weird, like the outside bit. It's really strange. But when you leave and come in, it's like a makeshift jetty across the River Thames.
Yeah.
As you come in and out. But when you're walking on it, it's like you're standing on like, it's all wobbling and stuff because where it's like makeshift. Yeah. But it's really funny when you leave. Like everyone's all over the place. No,
I don't know if few beers are deep, does it?
No.
No, they tried doing that with Ministry of Sound, didn't they? And everyone signed a petition for years and years because the whole, like you say, everyone just sort of like, well, we'll find another place to, rave. And I love that about that scene. So, so with Ravrade then, so where did like the concept start? Obviously, we've got Rave behind it, your passion for raves, and all that sort of stuff. Like, where did you, I know obviously we brushed up on it at the beginning, but like, what was the initial idea of like the design, the name? I know you guys, especially you, Mike, you were your sports science, but where did it all sort of start?
Well, Ravrade was almost like instantaneous. Like The name was never really changed. But what spent a while was like we were and ahhing with different designs and different logos and different ways to go about it. I mean, we had ones with strobe lights and all these over the top things. And then we got to a point where we were like, yeah, we're not graphic designers. Like this might look good in a sketchbook, but we're actually shit at making it. So we like initially to start off with, we worked with a company called Frost. And they were really good. They were great, and they sort of built out our initial first website and all of our logos. And you might see, like, if I show you, like, on the can, like our characters and stuff, we have like avatars that go with our brand. They made all of that for us, and they made like 4 or 5 different versions, and this one just stuck out like massively. So we went with this one, and they sort of helped us out with the design and everything of the can. But then in terms of like making the drink and how that came about, like I knew from like my degree what sort of stuff should be in it. But in terms of like neither of us had ever worked in the drinks industry. Like we had no idea about making it. We ended up working with food scientists for about a year and a half, and various like canning companies and company startup drinks lab. And food bars, and initially they'd send you little like test tubes of different, and they'd have like 6 different orange flavors, 6 different lemon and peach flavors that we had, and we also had like 4 other ones. And then it was like maybe like a 9-month process of us getting all our mates around, taste testing, going out on a night out, coming back and taste testing, and cool, like seeing which ones work best. Because I obviously, like, sometimes like a can of Coke during the day will taste nice, but after a rave, I hate a can of Coke. Like I couldn't touch it. Like, but then so we had to make sure that they worked in the environment you'd be in as well. We took some to the after parties and stuff, and we whittled it down to 3 after about 9 months. There was one awful one, wasn't there? There was there was
what was it? Chili
mango and lime. It was spicy.
What?
You know, drink like,
and I think I remember seeing that. I was excited. I was kind of excited about tasting it because it seemed so different.
No, it was bad.
No, you don't want chili and lime.
No, it was so bad. And then they changed it to just lime, and then that was bad.
Work.
But but then we had 3 flavors, but we could only afford, because like starting up, like it's a lot per flavor. Because where the recipes were completely different, like a lot of companies will just do the same 10 ingredients plus a flavoring. Do you know what I mean? And the drinks are effectively the same, but it's just got a different flavor. Like one of our drinks is caffeinated, one isn't. And the recipes are very different across the 2 drinks. And so we could only afford to really launch with 2. So a third one was forest fruits, which we knew was a big hitter, but we were also like, there's so many forest fruit drinks, like everyone, and we wanted orange as like a staple, because like most people will drink an orange drink. But then the other one, lemon and peach, like we hadn't really seen. Actually, the lemon and peach idea came from, I was at a restaurant, and they had this weird like mocktail thing. For some reason I wasn't drinking, and it was lemon and peach flavor. I was like, that's nice. Like maybe we could ask them, and they did that, and then that was the one we ended up settling on. Cool. So our original flavor that we got there is lemon and peach.
And it's interesting because it is such a unique flavor. Like it is our USP really, because there isn't anything really on the market. It is an original taste, and nobody can clock it. Like
no, we actually, like our next post on our socials, we went out taste testing, and he said like, everyone I know guesses this wrong. And we went out, and literally, and like more or less everybody liked it. Yeah. And no one could put their.
You can't get both.
They could put their finger on it. Like some people got peach, some people got lemon, but they could never get the 2 together. We had some mad suggestions. There was a fruit that someone kept saying.
Oh, guava.
No. It was like I'd never
lychee.
No, but there was one that I'd never even heard of.
Really?
And a couple of people said it. I was like, I don't even know what that is.
Yeah.
That's the flavors.
That's wicked, because it shows you guys are passionate about it. The fact that, like, you know, behind the product, and you're like, that tastes really good, and you like you're really into it. And seeing other people, it must be really like must be really nice to see other people like drinking it, and you're like, oh, I enjoy that. And
honestly, the first time we went to market, it was obviously like we weren't selling, with this taste test, I was like, shit, if no one like it's like a year and a half's work.
When that first batch came
Oh,
through
man.
and I opened that first can, I was like, I really hope this tastes good. Like, because we've obviously put so much, invested so much time, like money, everything. But yeah, it's worked out perfectly. Like the lemon and peach is delicious, and so is the orange.
What's interesting is there's not a dominant one, because we were initially going to go like with the batch that we got, the deal that we were with the companies we were working with, was you get a certain amount of each one. But then when we were making our second batch last year, we were like, do we get loads of one flavor that's like the dominant one and then just some of the other one? But it was impossible, because whenever we went out and we were asking people which one they liked more, it was relatively even, like which ones people like more. Like, some people hate the taste of like a citrusy lemon drink and they prefer the orange, and then other people like love the lemon and peach.
So it's perfect. You've got the two flavors actually, because I think going with the one flavor, it would have been a big risk, because like Mike said, there's people that like the orange over the lemon and peach, and it just offers some choice as well. So yeah, it's great that both of them come out.
We've got forest fruits recipe.
We've got them on the back burner.
Need to grow a little bit before we can release that one. But
I think I mean I'd like to know. This is why I asked you on, because I don't just want to interview and highlight just DJs and producers. It's more of the things behind it. Like you created a drink that's associated for ravers, and from that, and hearing the backstory behind it. So, which I think is, and I like to help small businesses in the scene and best I can, and whatever, and because I think that's what the scene's all about. Like it's like we were touching on earlier, is that it's so everyone sort of helps each other out and sort of kind of lifts each other up. And I mean, I think it's fantastic for like the concept that you've built and the story behind it. And I'm gonna go a little bit off topic here, or still on the same topic, but a little bit off subject. How do you get the find the cans? Does that come with it when you get the drink sorted out? The packaging, like how do you design all that and get that sorted?
No, right, yeah. So the first batch we had was like a plastic wrap, and that was with the company we worked with, and they put us onto like there's a canner that puts it all together. But then the second time round, we were like, we're going to be at raves. That people were just going to chuck stuff at raves and things like that, and like we wanted to go a little bit more sustainable as well. Just to tick that box as well, as like we could say we're a sustainable brand. Like we found a company that prints directly onto the can, which is the ones we have now. But yeah, it's all separate. Like you have the rest, the ingredients we will source, send to the distilleries that make the drink, and then the canners will then deliver the cans open to and then they fill them.
So it is a lot of like. It's basically almost like a bit of a puzzle. Like you're picking loads of different, trying to organize everything, which can be like, it can be interesting, but it can also be like stressful because you've got all these moving parts.
There's so many cowboys as well. Like in I didn't realize going into the drinks industry, there's so many people that will talk a big game, but when you actually look at it, you're like, you're just screwing us here. And like we found like we've got
a good supply chain.
A good supply chain now.
We've got a good local. So the cannons that we use right now, they're based in Devon. And they're great. They're fantastic.
Nice.
Like really professional. They make the drinks. Like we had no wastage.
No, the first batch we had loads of wastage. We had like 20% of what we asked them to make was wasted.
Wow.
Which was like more than 10,000 cans. We got 8,000. And this time they emailed me and was like, "Oh yeah, we've got a little bit of wastage. We're sorry." We were like, "Oh okay." Like expecting a similar thing again, and they were like, "We've only got 10,100 cans." We're like, that's 100 more than we thought we were getting. Like they were. But yeah, they were really, really good. So yeah, I mean, the process of doing all that is arduous, but like I think now we're in a place where we're settled. Like we've got the people that we're.
Once you've done it a couple of times, you find your partners, and I guess it might be the same in the music industry as well. Like you know who you are with, what clubs are best, like where you want to DJ or whatnot. I guess that's similar to us. Like we've got us like partners now that we like to work with, and they're good, and we've got a good working relationship now. where it's nice and easy. So yeah, moving forward, it's sort of more run of the mill. But yeah, those first couple, very stressful because you don't know how it's going to go when you're working with someone new for the first time. It's sort of like, oh no, what if something goes wrong? So yeah, it's good that you make so many mistakes, but then you learn from them, and eventually you find the right partners over time.
Yeah,
I think it is just important to, you will make mistakes and people will like fuck you over. Like, unfortunately, that's just the nature of the beast. But so long as sometimes you just have to take the L, but like learn the lesson. And just make sure that the next step, like you have your processes and like ways of working that sort of mitigate that risk. So that you don't get fucked over, and then you find the right people that you want to work with. But I think we're in a pretty good place with the supply chain.
That's good. It's like any industry, isn't it? Once you go through it, you navigate through it, you know who the cowboys are and who the Mickey Mouse people are, right? And then you fail sometimes, like you're saying. It's good that you highlighted that, because then a couple of fails, you need to understand that industry in order to be successful, right? So it's good that you highlighted that.
And I think as well, like where we were starting out as well, people tried it like as well.
They didn't they? 100%. And like, I think we've gone into this like we're constantly learning. Like, we don't know. I think we've gone into this not saying that we know 100% of everything. Like we've gone into this taking it step by step and just learning every little piece.
The one thing we do know is that like the target market, like the market research, like we know that the drink is useful to that community and that group. Like it will help, and that, like I said, like we touched on before about like the whole community element of raving. We wanted to make the drink that is actually going to help them. We're not just trying to do a cash grab, because then there's far bigger communities we could target if we wanted to just try and make money from the drink. Like, we do obviously want to make money from it, but it's about we will drink this ourselves at our afters.
I go through like they're going out of fashion. But also I think for the brand as well, like we want to give back. A lot of our focus that we've had, and when we've thought about our content strategy and like our social media and all of that, we want our brand also to be almost like a community page. So we're offering, we're not just a drink company. We want to, highlight the best next like upcoming events, start promoting that side of things. Maybe shout out different DJs or doing informative pieces.
Raving tips.
Raving tips. I think last one that we did, and it's a trend that we want to keep going. The last one we did was about sober raving, because obviously dry Jan.
I was going to bring this up actually.
Because there is a growing trend of like ravers that don't want to drink now, or when you get older, it's sort of like maybe not total abstinence, but you want to start to become a bit more aware of, like, you don't want to go too hard all the time.
No, it gets harder on the body, doesn't it?
You burn out. But we want our brand to also reflect that as well. We don't just want to be a drink. Like, we want to have our content to be informative and interesting to the community as much as like the drink is also important to help them, rebalance your body and rehydrate effectively. So, I think every part of our stages, we want to give back to the community that we've enjoyed for the last, 10 plus years.
Yeah, that's good. You mentioned the sober thing, because like you say, there is a growing trend now of DJs and ravers and going sober. And like you said at the beginning of this podcast, was that it's like a 8-hour workout. So even if you're not drinking, you're still like need to replace them salts. And like for me now, like my missus said to me, oh, you need to have like electrolytes every day, magnesium. And so she's been getting me on this health kick, and the fact that obviously you've explained that. There you go. So, pass it through the screen. But the fact you've highlighted that's in your product, and it is, it can be used in any sort of avenue in that sense, then it's a good thing, right? And it's good that you brought up the sober raving, because I think a lot of sober ravers feel left out sometimes, and it's good that there's something like that to include them all in.
Yeah, 100%. I think like when we've gone, especially like reaching out to it's interesting you talk about DJ side of things as well. Like, there's a lot of DJs that are starting to go sober.
Yeah, definitely.
Like we've spoken to and spoken with. There's DJs that just don't like, even if they're still getting on it and drinking, whatever. They don't always want it. They're doing so many shows, like they can't be doing that every single show. Like it is a job for
the
them.
driving between
The
shows.
driving,
Yeah, like a lot
all
of the
that.
DJs have said because we did a big reach out to DJs and sent lots of taster cans out to various different DJs, and they all said like, yeah, it's something that I drink on route from one place to the other after I've done a set, and I'm knackered. Like it boosts you up a bit.
Yeah, and I think it's just a different option as well, like a different soft drink option. Again, it goes back to that, like the soft drink side of things is limited in terms of options. What you got water, you got Red Bull, you got like energy drinks, you got Coke, or different like colas, but that's about it, right?
And none of them actually have what you need in them.
Yeah,
Like
there's nothing like that when I was raving. Do you know what I mean? Like there was nothing, and it's good to see that now, that part. And a question I do have for you is, obviously you got your cans and your tasted done and your cans all sorted, the packaging. It must have been great to have the first box of cans and be like, wow, this is our product, like,
Yeah.
And
we were actually at an Oscars when we had that realization moment.
Yeah.
We were just like, shit, like we've actually done it.
Yeah,
I've actually made a drink.
It was crazy when we got that first box through and then just opening it up. And yeah, you just see it for the first time. You're like, it's almost like this baby that you've been like, I don't know, growing or whatever. Probably a really bad analogy. But yeah, it was a really good moment. And also just like, at the afters when we did that first initial like
first one, it was so good.
That was great.
Yeah,
it felt really good. It felt really, really good to see that final product.
And that's cool. And again, like also with the colors, right? Because you look at some cans, they got boring colors, haven't they? And I've read into this even for my own podcast and artwork, looking into like certain colors like trigger sort of attention and stuff like that. And when I saw your can, the colors like all like psychedelically trippy, and it like made me like, oh yeah, that's. Do you know what I mean? It's quite like
yeah, for sure. And like when we had the characters made as well, like we were giving them really specific like instructions, like we want one of them to have a bucket hat on. Can one of them have a bucket hat, please? And they were like, okay, you like, don't know how we're going to do that. I was like, oh, go on, please, we want a bucket hat.
Yeah. But they did the smashing job. But like the branding as well, like the color scheme, like the pastel colors and things like that.
Yeah.
Again, it goes back. We wanted it to fit the rave because that's kind of like we want that our branding and packaging to also be like a rave in itself. I don't know if that makes sense, but
I know what you're saying.
Like, of the colors, like the characters that fit the scene, like our matey with the bucket hat. We want all of it to just like what's the word? Like, encapsulate. Encapsulate the rave.
Yeah.
Oh, nice, mate. And like from there, then, so when you've got your first box and you've got your first batch of cans, how does it go? Like, how did you sort of organize to start sort of distributing it, reaching out to people? Like, because you've got to obviously you said a year and a half to get the drink done, but it's also a big amount of planning for distributing it, and
and that's like that doesn't really end. It's ongoing, like all the time. Like we're still very much in that phase now. We did quite a few events last year. This year we're going to target like trying to get listings at places, because what we found was like one of the events we did, Sundown. We were like, we're going to go in, we're going to run a 24-hour shop, we're never going to close, and underestimating the power of a 19-year-old festival. And we were selling, and like finally got to bed at about 7. And then because we'd been educating everyone on the brand for the last like 24 hours about it's a great for recovery, blah, blah, blah. My pal rings me from the tent at 8 o'clock. He's like, you need to get up. There's loads of people here. And our busiest time was like
in the morning,
8 till 12 the next day. Like the first day we were like worried. We were like, but then it was because no one knew who we were. We were going around like doing videos and explaining the brand and stuff. But then day 2 onwards of that festival, like every morning we were like, right, everyone needs to be up at 6 because that's when we're gonna start getting.
And it was mental to see that actually, because you just saw these, like everyone was coming over, and it was just sort of like, it makes sense because it's obviously helping them, Like it's helping people. And, yeah, our morning being our busiest period, like it's
because
it was
that's wicked. Like, because also I've read into you guys as well, and how long have you been doing it properly? Like, say from start to finish to where you're at now?
2.5 years.
about 2.5, yeah.
2.5 years.
2.5,
Yeah, so
we started.
Yeah.
So 2.5 years. I noticed that you did the drum and bass. Was it drum and bass awards?
Yeah, the
Drum and
bass
Bass Arena Awards.
arena awards. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big achievement, mate.
Class. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
class. That was class.
I think for us especially, like we love drum and bass, so that was a big moment for
It
us.
was just a party for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously, yeah, that as well.
It was like loads of build-up work, but then when we actually got there, we were just like kids, like just
It was great, man.
meeting DJs and stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, it was an accolade for sure. And like knowing like the esteem, like the absolute pedigree of Drum Bass Arena, and then being able to partner with them on their official awards at the end of the year, that was it was a real milestone.
I love hearing stories like this. That's why I got you guys on.
There was a really surreal moment of that with like Becky Hill doing an interview, sat next to one of our cans,
Yeah.
and I was just like, "What the fuck is happening?"
Yeah.
She was just doing an interview, like talking about drum, and that interview went viral. And it's really annoying because they just had her face. If they'd have zoomed out of her a little bit, that went viral. Our can was just underneath that clip.
Yeah.
It was really annoying. But yeah, having her sitting there with that, like that was the moment I was like, oh, this is actually quite a big deal that we've done this event.
Yeah.
That was really good.
That just reminded me of
people that run that. I love it as well. Like
Yeah,
people that run that are like, they get it.
Yeah.
Like they're not just people working at a company. Like they get the whole thing.
It's like you say, like lifting people up. Like all of those guys, you know, they were really collaborative, like super nice to work with. Just a great group of guys, and really helped us, like allowed us to actually have our freedom as well of the brand.
Yeah,
because I think for a startup like us, like we've been around for like a year now, and like we're not anything crazily big or anything like that, but the worry is, you know, we want to work with these bigger companies and whatnot. The worry is like getting swallowed up by those big companies and almost like your brand getting owned in these partnerships. But those guys, you know, allowed us to have our creative freedom with it. And that was brilliant. Yeah. It was a real achievement.
I also think like it's all well and good having these big brands, but even like with the trend of like sober raving and stuff, it's like people like to support smaller businesses where there's a bit of like passion and character behind it. Like, like, you know what I mean? If it's a big company, everyone's like, you know, it's a generic thing. But when they see something like your can, like if I was drinking your can and I see you guys promoting it, I want to support that business because it's like this is why I got, like I said, I got you on the podcast because you hear the story, but also like, this is why we made it, you know, as well. Like you say, another big company just making it for, you know, just whatever. But you guys have actually, you know, sort of.
And that's the thing. Like we can't compete. Like when, like during the process of making it, Prime came out, right? Like obviously they're multi-millionaires already, got a massive following already. You can't compete with their reach at any level. But they like that brand, for example, do not have the knowledge or the care for the community that we do. Like we give a shit about it. Like, do you know what I mean?
Not to say that they don't give a shit about.
But like they don't know. They don't know.
That's not their target audience.
They're not part of that community.
I think where we sit is because we're we want to be part of this niche community. Well, it's not really a niche community anymore. Like Raven's starting to pop off again, which is great. But like we are only part of that community, right? And we know that community, and we don't really we're not going into sports. We're not going into like anything else. Like
no.
We are a rave brand, and we want to, you know, be part of that. So we do care. And I think, you know, we want our brand to be part of that, you know, specifically within that community. But yeah, like the bigger companies, they'll just be more general.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just the way it is, isn't it? And like you say, you know, like I think there is a gap in the rave market for something like this, and you know, like you say, Prime are not targeting that, are they? They're targeting generic stuff, right? But then your stuff is to, like you say,
sports again. It's another sports one. It's another sports one. Like this one's the UFC football team, and stuff like that. And like there's not a huge amount of difference between the isotonic drinks in terms of the things in them, like in terms of what's in them, but we've just made ours that's more suitable for like ravers. Like we don't need tons of caffeine in it because people are people are already up and raving. Like we need like recovery stuff, like stuff that's actually, and that's why we designed it the way we did. Yeah,
that's wicked, mate. And like, so once like from now, then how are you navigating like social media, and how are you like navigating to reach out to bigger brands? Like how do you approach it with your product? Do you know what I mean? Like for them to sort of like
I think well we've gone I think last year we went pretty big with some of the stuff we were doing. So I think moving forward we want to generate more partnerships, and we want to have like more genuine connections with people. We want to work with people that also have like similar mindsets in terms of like,
and I think like to get us on the map, we did a couple of like big staple events, and like the Drum Bass Arena Awards was actually very manageable in terms of like fees and stuff. But like, there's some events where we just got priced out. Like the amount of money they wanted from us was huge. But like when we managed to get a few of those in, and we've built not a big social media following, but we've built some people know about us now within that side of the business,
like a grassroots thing.
Like we've now, like, people have emailed us that last year we were completely priced out of it. I mean, we've got offers coming in now that like are more viable for us, and like, oh yeah, no, we'd like to have you there, and like people want us back from when we had us before, that was the big thing for us, was like, if we do something, like we want to give off a good impression, so that like we would generate repeat working with these guys. Like we're working with more independent ones this year as well, sort of like building our way up from the bottom this time around with like a different approach.
I think we went big last year, but I think this year, like I mean, don't get me wrong, we'd love to do like some of the big stuff as well, right? But like those independent ones, we can really start to build like, again, like tighter communities through that. These smaller independent festivals typically,
you won't get lost.
And there's smaller groups of people, they know it, they're intimately, within that scene or whatnot. So that's kind of where we're looking moving forward, and then slowly again from there, then growing, up to the biggest stuff.
And going back to what I said earlier about the Sundown Festival, like where it was like really taxing, working 24 hours. Like one of the things we've been trying to target this year is like trying to get at the bar. Then that frees us up to be around the bar, educating people about what the brand is, and like telling our story like we are on here. Like in a much like shorter version, like telling them what our story is and what we are. Whereas when we were at our activation stand, we can't be at every festival or loads of festivals, because like we both work and other jobs as well, and it's like it's very taxing. We don't have a massive team. We have about 4 or 5 people. So getting remote work, like we're behind a bar or a listing at an actual club and whatnot, that's the sort of avenue we're looking at as well.
So how did you go about building your team then? When did you think what made you think it was the right time to start building that team, and how did you select people?
We're quite lucky in terms of like the team that we have working with us are all friends and family. Because we're quite blessed in the sense that we have people that work, people's day jobs within our friend and close-knit group are all things that are viable to our business. Like my wife works in marketing, so she can help with like what size the post would be. She can edit our videos and do things like that. We have people that graphic designers. We have people that work in a public space where they're like, I'm a primary school teacher by trade, so like speaking in front of people doesn't bother me, and things like that. And other people we know, like one of our friends, Jonty, he is great in front of a camera talking to the public. Whereas like sometimes when we're in front of the camera, we have to do a couple of takes because we're just a bit like at the start of it, but he's just there's just a few of our friends are just really good at that. So they feature in quite a lot of our videos.
100%. But it's also like they care, like, and we're lucky to have like great group of mates, are just willing to help when we need it.
They've all been really supportive of us doing it.
So that's been good, and I think I mean, keeping it lean is going to be like, if we can keep it as lean as possible, great. But hopefully in 12 months' time, we can then start to think, okay, we're getting to a stage where maybe we're starting to look to grow our team out, where we have someone dedicated to social media, or we got someone dedicated to this, and then we can start to think about more
accountant friend. That's the other really important one that we have.
Yeah.
We'd be gone. We wouldn't be having this conversation right now if we didn't have an accountant friend. I don't think he helped us all. We were useless with that last year. He helped us do all our tax and everything properly. But that's it's been really helpful.
And I think if you are starting something out, like, you want to keep it as lean as possible. And I think most people have a group around them that have certain skills, like, that would be willing to help you. And all you got to do is, if you build something you're passionate about it, they are going to help you, right? And it's just all about, like, finding the group within the people that you know to help you out. And that's kind of how we've got to where we've got to, really. Because it's not us, really. It's actually our friend group.
Everyone's helped us get through it. We couldn't do it with just us two.
Impossible. We're useless.
I don't think you are. You've done a great drink brand. Fucking hell.
Apart from, like, we've made the drink and we've put everything together. Don't ask me to edit social media posts, because that I am useless at.
All right, Mike, I'm 34. I'm useless. I have to get my missus to help me out.
It's fine.
I think it's good that you've. I mean, I know this is a rave podcast, but it's good that you've explained, like, about how the rave community is a community, but also your team is your community as well, and how you started it and built it. Making failures. I think that's also good for anyone in rave, or just in general life, with producers, DJs. That the fact that you're going to fail sometimes, but if you're passionate, you're going to do it. And if you find a good team and have friends that want to support you, you can do that. And having friends that have different, different qualities, or trades that can benefit, right? So
100%. Yeah, it's so important to just look internally, because in your own circle or network, because there's people that will help you out, like we would help any of our mates.
Of course.
And then it's just, don't be afraid to ask, really, for that help. And that's another thing that we've gone into this. It's like, again, we don't want to go in like we know everything. We don't. So we're not afraid to just ask for help. And people will help, right? Like,
even other brands. Like, we've spoken to other brands that have done a similar journey to us, and, like, it's been quite. That's always got me back on track when I've been been a bit worried about it, because they're like, "No, you're at this stage. We were at this stage." But like bigger brands. So hearing that they've had the same sort of struggles is relieving. Because you're like, there's been points, like, throughout the journey where I'm like, is this even going to work? And then, like, you speak to them and they're like, no, that's normal. Like, do you know what I mean? So that's been helpful.
You definitely need to start looking at the people that are, like, 2 steps ahead of you, or, like, 1 step ahead of you, so that you can get the reassurance. Because there are so many moments that you think, man, like, are we doing it? Like, are we going down the right path? Are we what is there stuff that we should be doing that we're not? And
everyone has an opinion, don't they? Everyone will say, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. But then, like, when you speak to people that have actually done it, and knowing that some of the things, or a lot of the things that you're doing, are what they did when they started out, it's like, okay, like, at least we're not way off board here with what we're doing.
That's good, because you sometimes think, like, the other brands, it's quite daunting to ask and things like that. But it's like, for me, right, like, there's other big DJs, producers, and podcasts. It's like, even when I message some of the big DJs, like, my podcast is having people that are not so big and just all, big spectrum. But when I even ask some of the big DJs, it's like, they're going to say no, or they're going to say no. Then a lot of the time, they're like, hey, man, I'm happy to come on. You're like, fucking hell, what? They just replied to me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so it goes in hand with what you said earlier. Like, don't be afraid to ask out. And
of course.
There are nice people in this industry, no matter if they're the biggest or the,
we had I don't know if we can say it, but at Sundown, big.
Yeah, we can say it. You
sure? Because I was going to ask you what's the future.
Example.
Example.
Oh, legend.
It's great.
And he loved it. There was we had to run down because they'd put some in the waiting room for the DJs, but then And we messaged all the DJs that were playing just on the off chance that someone might reply. He was like, "Oh no, there isn't any here." But then we're in a different room, and we've run down to like behind the stage trying to give it to. But eventually they got them to him, and like he messaged us back saying that he loved them and stuff like. So that was
like someone like is like that pedigree, and that like he's huge and massive, but like super humble to just take time out of his
Kilimanjaro is popping off.
Josh. Yeah, 100%.
We actually loosely know him as well.
But yeah, you think they're too big to ask, or they're too big, but they'll help you out. But they will, like, if they believe. But I guess if they like what you're doing, and you know.
Some of them have been mad supportive, like Natty Lou, for example. Like she's nice. Like loads of people have, but she went over and above. She made like 4 videos for us, didn't she? Like, and then we saw her at the Drum and Bass Awards, which was great. To actually meet her in person.
But these people, like you say, people will help people. Like people are nice generally. Like I think people, you might start to go into journeys like this, like starting a business or whatnot, and think. Like when we first started out, we were like, no, we can't tell anyone, or like we got to keep it to ourselves. Blah, blah, blah. Maybe it's a good thing that we did that for as long as we did. But like we broke away from that, and it was like, no, actually, let's just start talking about it. Let's ask for help and like find out, because otherwise you're going to be lost. I think in just generally speaking, whatever you're doing, if you're going into like any kind of project or whatever it is, like. Don't be afraid to know that you're not going to know everything, and don't be afraid to ask for sure.
No, I'm glad you boys brought that up, because that's really beneficial for a lot of people in any sort of industry, right? And especially in the music industry, because you want to go online and show your talents and your skills, and everyone's worried about negative say, but negative stuff is also one person said to me, negative press is good press, and good press is good press. It's all. But the negative views are going to help you build and get better, right? And hone your skill and your craft a bit better. So it's great that you bring that up. So what's the future then for like Rave? What can you tell me that's going to be happening?
Well, lot of ideas.
This year is all about us. We want to grow our following. And like we were talking about it, and we want to grow our socials. Of course, we want to grow our socials, but also I don't follow Red Bull or Pepsi or Coca-Cola or anything like that on social media. Like if we can promote ourselves as like a rave brand as well as a drink brand, and we can help our socials grow like that. But I think in terms of growth, what we actually want is like awareness in the community of like who these guys are. People actually know who we are, because then like when we're looking at festivals throughout the year and looking at clubs. He's actually going to be successful there, and we'll be at as many as we can for presence. But then, this year's all about building. We're going to try and do as many independent, smaller festivals to start off with. Love to do some work with Drum and Bass Arena again.
100%.
That would be great. And we work with a few, because the way it works, there's a few companies that will be in charge of multiple events and festivals. So like speaking to them and see, and they'll go away and come back to you with things like, they might be like, no, this is too big for you at the moment, or they might come back and say, this one won't quite work, but these ones might be more within your budget, because we'll tell them what we can afford to lay out to be at these places.
That's what they reach out and tell you. They say that to you though, isn't it? It's good that they say like, hey, this might not work, but try this and this.
And it's I'd rather that than going down exactly. But I think also just continuing with the community-driven approach of our brand and socials as well. Like we want to make sure that like every post that we're making, is informative and it like speaks to that community. And then moving forward,
I think a huge drive to our shop as well, our online shop. Because like we've admittedly, like we've been focusing a lot on events, and we've been focusing a lot on making engaging posts and stuff. But I think this year another key milestone for us is like really pushing the ads to drive traffic to our website. Because we offer like discounts, we do monthly competitions on our socials as well. So we want to pick those up again. We haven't done one in a little while. So we want to pick those up again, like the giving back. We've given away tickets to Ibiza. We gave away. That was an ill-fated venture, because we were just starting out and we thought, oh, this will be great. We're going to sell loads of cans straight away, and we can afford flights to Ibiza for someone. It's going to be amazing. Offered it. then realised, yeah, okay, first event tanked because no one knew who we were, and there weren't many people there. We thought there were going to be loads of people. There wasn't that many. We were like, oh god.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, we dialed it back in a little bit.
Yeah.
But like working festivals, they gave us some tickets to use for competitions and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's been great. So yeah, we're going to do some of that as well. And just getting out, really, getting out and getting our product out there, because we need to just do more of that, just like a follower drive, and really use those like paid ads to try and direct people to our
and also more influencer outreach as well, DJ outreach, because that's you get so many organic opportunities come through that. We actually had so many opportunities come through like the reach out that we did. It can be tricky because like the time spent, you need to be packing each box up. Like we like to write little notes in each one as well, just say thank you for like supporting us. So it takes a lot of time, but also picking that back up, because that's super important. Sending out product to DJs to try as well. Because they can then also give you some one-to-one feedback, which is great. We've had like loads of great feedback from various different artists.
And like where we're working with like fulfillment centers now, like where if someone was to buy on our website, they handle all the packaging, shipping, and send it out to them. That leaves us more time to like when we're reaching out to people, we can make it a little bit more.
But yeah, there's a lot to do in the future. I think a big thing is just growing the brand, continuing what we're doing, but doubling down and just increasing our effort. And then I think further down the line, I know we've had some pretty interesting thoughts about,
all sorts.
Maybe,
some not like sponsoring events,
maybe even I don't know, this is way far-fetched in the future, but maybe even running our own events, like Ravrade events.
That's a bit way down the line.
That would be way down the line, but that would do stuff.
I have to say though, while we're here, when we first started this out, I was like, I'd really love to be on a podcast and talk about it one day. So this is like a milestone for me, to be fair, today.
That's cool, man.
Like before we even started Ravrade, I'm like, I always want to be a guest on something like that. so he's ticking a box for me personally today.
Oh, that's good, yeah. Because I was speaking to there's a guy called Dave from Nocturnal London Clothing. He reached out to me as well because I shouldn't really reveal this, but I'll tell it anyway. He's sorting out some clothing for me, like some
nice
for the podcast, and he's actually friends with. I interviewed a guy called Jordan Peak. He's friends with him, and he's like, "Oh, Joe, what?" He says it would be really good to interview these guys that have got this drink brand like in the rave scene. I was like, "Oh yeah," and he's like, "It's like, I think they'd be great with what they're doing and stuff." So I said, "Oh, okay." He said, "Is there Instagram stuff?" So I was like, "Oh, I've checked the website." And check that, and I was like, "Oh yeah." He's like, "Give him like get him on," And so I was like, "Sweet, that sounds cool." And then because like I said earlier, like there's nothing like that. When I was raving in the UK, I know 6 years ago, but like there was nothing there like that for me, because I felt like a bag of shit in the morning, even when sober, even when I used because I used to drive a lot to my raves as well.
But a lot of it is you've just shot your body of all of its minerals and you've sweat so much and everything's gone. You'd be the same like if you just went for a massive workout and then didn't eat a healthy meal or have a nice drink afterwards or anything like that and just went to bed. Like you'd feel like shit the next day anyway if you didn't replenish after that. But most people at the gym will have like a Lucozade Sport
exactly
in their hand. You know what I mean?
And it is mainly like the sweating as well that a lot of people don't realise. But like when you sweat those salts, minerals, and vitamins out. So all of those like essentials that your body has, like you're sweating that out. And if you are just drinking, I don't know, like beer or just water, then you're basically not balancing back the salts that your body's
the sodium helps manage. Like people just tanking on water as well. Like some people just drink so much water at a rave that it helps balance that as well. If you were to drink one of these, like so people don't overload on water as well.
And that's the thing as well, isn't it? Like when you go, like you said, Mike, when you go work out, it's like an hour. But when you're raving, it's 8 hours of just constantly like like
imagine you can do that 8 hours. You don't have a sports drink while you're there. You come home, you don't eat dinner, you go to bed. The next morning, you're going to feel like shit.
You know
what I mean? but it's just common practice in the gym, right? Like they'll sell Powerade, they'll sell like Lucozade Sport and stuff in there. Whereas at a rave, it's not, because they don't. I like under the impression they like don't really want to be. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I mean they're just going for sports, aren't they? Like,
yeah, they've got their target market and it's working, you know. But like,
100%.
it's not. Yeah, but it's needed. At a rave. That's
and that's
circling back. That's why we made it.
Because it is a product that is needed, and it will help it. Like it's helped us, and we know it's helped us. So you know, we need to make we made this product to help other people.
No, it's a wicked story, guys. Honestly, I really appreciate you coming on the show and explaining like what you've done. I think it's cool that there's a gap in that market, and you're working hard towards that sort of gap. You know, where there is a trend now where a lot of people are. I wouldn't say it's a trend, obviously, maybe it is, but there is a movement now where people are going more sober now for DJing, producing, and raving and stuff. And like we said, you know that. It's good that it's like a community driven thing, and that's cool. And I'm glad. I'm thankful for you sharing that story.
Yeah, thanks so much for having us on.
Yeah, thanks for having us on. It's been great.
Yeah, really enjoyed this actually.
Yeah, it's been really good.
Nice one. I appreciate it, guys.